at AIMS Rwanda from AIMS perspective to deliver the opening remark. Prof, please, welcome.
Thank you, Joyeuse. The representative of the Ministry of Education, the representative of the Rwandan Basic Education Board, dear colleagues from AIMS, dear AIMS alumni, dear distinguished partners, distinguished guests, good morning, and welcome to the launch of the 2026 African Science Week. This second edition of African Science Week is a clear statement of our intent to spark dialogue between scientists, youth, educators, and industry leaders. Today, we launch simultaneously across 7 countries: Rwanda, South Africa, Cameroon, Ghana, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Nigeria, and Ethiopia. And the theme of this important activity is harnessing science and innovation for Africa's sustainable future. We always believe at AIMS that in Africa youth, the future of science. I would like to invite everyone here to participate in these exchanges and help us grow the next generation of scientific leaders who will secure Africa's sustainable future. I would like to close by wishing all of you a fruitful activity. On behalf of the AIMS senior management, I declare open the activities of the 2026 African Science Week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Blaise, for those inspiring opening remarks and for setting the tone for today's discussion. We will now proceed with an overview of the African Science Week 2026 edition in Rwanda. This session will provide context on the objective of the initiative, planned activities, and the expected impact across the science and education ecosystem. I would like to invite the project team leads, Jeanette and Yvette, to guide us through this presentation. The IT team can help us present, and then the team can come in front.
Thank you. Representative from Rwanda Basic Education Board, senior management from AIMS Rwanda, distinguished guests and partners, teachers, researchers, innovators, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Jeanette Mukangango. My name is Alumni. I'm doing research at Rwanda at MZRIC.
Thank you. I'm Yvette Dushime. I'm serving as assistant lecturer at University of Tourism, Technology and Business Studies. I'm an AIMS alumni and I'm a MasterCard Foundation scholar.
Thank you. We are a lead of this African Science Week in Rwanda. Today, on 14th May 2026, Rwanda is joining border Africa to prepare African Science Week. It's led by AIMS alumni, and this is the second edition. We are going to give an overview of Rwanda. African Science Week is a Pan-African event led by AIMS alumni and MasterCard scholar. Rwanda is one of 7 African countries participating, along with Ethiopia, Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria, South Africa, and Democratic Republic of Congo. Our objective is to inspire the next generation of African scientists to ensure no student is left behind. Girls, students with disabilities, refugees are all included. Science is not a privilege, it's everyone deserves it. Bring hands-on science experiment to school using local available materials to showcase AIMS alumni as role models for the next generation. Imagine being a student who loves science, but in your school don't have a laboratory, you don't have equipment. That is the challenge for most of African young are facing. Girls and marginalized groups face extra barrier to STEM participation. Officially, we are launching African Science event. Later, we will join other 6 countries live. From 15 to 20 May, we will visit 4 schools across Rwandan country. In Northern Province, we will visit Groupe Scolaire Byumba Inyange 1. We will visit Institut Philippe Smardon sur Emwe in Kigali. In South Province, we will visit Groupe Scolaire Nyamiyaga. And in Eastern, we will visit Groupe Scolaire HVP Gatagara. Among the 4 schools we will visit, 2 of them are for students with disabilities. By 800 to 1,000 students will be having experiment of using local materials around them without laboratories. 50 teachers participate in professional dialogue, and also every girl in the school we visit will walk away confidently knowing that future science, future STEM is possible for them. Science belongs for every child of Africa. By the end of this week, together, let's build African science future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette and Yvette, for giving us an overview and sharing the vision behind this important initiative of the events you have prepared for Rwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to a very important discussion focused on science education in Rwanda. This session will explore the current state of science education in secondary schools, ongoing reforms, existing gaps, and opportunities to strengthen science learning for all. I would like to invite
Country Director of EMZ in Rwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I have to present in a few minutes about education status in Rwanda, especially related to reform or how we changed our education from many years ago. As I said, I'm Pierre. I'm in charge of science and mathematics in Rwanda Basic Education Board. This is a good opportunity to share with you our experience. As we are in the Rwanda Basic Education Board, our main goal is to become teachers, because our boss is small runners. Now, I have a simple question. When we say 1 + 1 is equal to 2, is it right? Everywhere you go, countrywide, out of country, across the world, 1 + 1. When you move to other subjects like history or geography or economics, each country has own economics, own history, but science is common to everywhere you go. It is why we are very happy to share science based on our country, even compared to global professional framework, GPF. It is a good style for understanding if we match all regressions. As you know, we are moving to 21st century across the world for education system. Before, we have to think how can we be dynamic compared to other countries. In Rwanda, every 10 years, we change curriculum based on the real situation, according to our vision, according to NSS2, according to education sector strategic plan. We have to change every 10 years for being dynamic. Why we need to change? Especially when we come back a little bit, before 2015, our education focused on teacher-centered method, where students have to follow. Teacher consider student as a learner who has empty box. But after 2015, we moved to analog or to teacher-centered method to learner-centered method, where we focused on student for helping all students to be dynamic and to improve their talents. It is why we introduced competence-based curriculum, where we have to move with science to encourage students to create related to innovation. There's 3 categories. For our vision, we have to be adapted. As I said, even science is common in the world, we are dynamic. We are not static. We have to be adapted, and we have to work with a target as agreement with our government. This is our main type of curriculum. We have 3 types of curriculum: intended curriculum, intended curriculum, implemented curriculum, and attended curriculum. For intended curriculum, there are main goals. As I can share with you, there's main goals, main package, where our education is divided into 4 categories. There is part of science with 2 categories, where students can move with mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology, or where students can move with mathematics, economics, geography, and physics, with other common subjects. This is the main 2 categories after analyzing many exercises compared to other countries. It is why for those 2 main streams, help students, help our children to think critically. I can give you funny examples. When we say that 15 plus 4 is equal to 55, as a teacher, this is a good answer. But we need to know why students can say that it is good or not. Do you understand my philosophy? On number 4, 15 plus 4. If we say that it is 55, is it right or not? Yes? Some of you say that not, but for me, I can say it is true. For navigating with science or with mathematics, as STEM indicated, it is not mandatory to manipulate with some teaching, learning materials. We have first of all to understand principles. If learners say that 15 plus 4 is equal to 55, it is good. But one problem for that student is to know according to place value number. It is why during CBC or competence-based curriculum, teacher became a facilitator and tried to detect where students have a critical problem. According to Newman approach, there is 5 steps for solving a problem. First step is to understand. How to understand the question. Reading, understanding. Third, transformation from one problem to process it is. After transformation, we need to know where you have to stop encoding. Those 5 steps, teacher have to detect where students have difficulty. It is why, in briefly, our education related to science and mathematics, we have 6 steps. 1, there is a step, topics, which you choose to navigate. Second, we create a scenario. As I said, before 2015, it was teacher-centered method, but this time it is learner-centered method. What does this mean? Our science helps students to use induction method. Induction method means from known object to unknown object. Previously, it was giving a formula and you have to navigate. After analyzing formula, you have to apply. But this is total confused for students. But this period, we started by induction method. Induction method means from known, any scenario, any discussion, any topic with different discussion, purpose behind for moving to unknown, which will be formula as indicated in our textbooks. After discussion, we have to use ethics. In the previous years, we know that scientist man is man with extra style, extra behavior, but this period, we integrate science with social life. After understanding, student, teacher have to facilitate each learner related to each problem, to particular problem. As I said, if students say that 14 plus 15 plus 4 is equal to 55, teacher cannot say this is wrong, but teacher have to help the student during science how we present our impressive value numbers. After, we have to connect science with home science. CBC focused on school science and home science. Most of students have common questions. When we run botanics or genetics or biology or mathematics or any kind of physics, chemistry, there's so many formulas, so many techniques. Most of the students, why we need to run this? Why we need to understand? Critical issue which can motivate students is to integrate school science with home science. When you move out of school, you have to apply your skills. This is home science. When you are at school, you have to apply school science. Target for science, it is not sit in a laboratory, it is not sit in a class, it is just to be dynamic. After understanding basic skills given by curriculum as intended curriculum, given by teacher doing teaching and learning, mathematics like implemented the curriculum, we create a good learner with a good profile, where our target is to create learners who have a good skills for outcomes will be innovating everywhere we go. Student or any learner can show his skills without hesitation. It is our target for education, especially in science and mathematics. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jean-Pierre, for that insightful presentation. When I saw 15 plus 4 equal to 55, I started to question myself. Am I wrong? I thought it's 19. We will now take a few questions to reflect from the audience. We had a presentation from our AIMS leading the Science Week in Rwanda. We had a presentation from the Director of Science in REB. I think people in the audience might have some few questions, so we will take a few questions, 3 to 5, as we are waiting for 11 to start the live streaming session with other countries. Any questions? Do you have any questions? Yes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Atanas. So my question is related to changing the curriculum every 10 years. And you say the science is dynamic, and is right, it's dynamic. So my question is based on the teachers now. If you change curriculum every 10 years, so do we have the strategies to upgrade the skill of the teachers every 10 years as well? Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. For changing curriculum, there is many steps. First of all, it is not sitting in the office and change curriculum as we want. We have to move, control, we disseminate. We collect information from society, parents, students, teachers, and stakeholders. And we after recognize the gap, we improve. We revise the curriculum. After revising, we revise automatically textbooks. After revision of curriculum textbooks, next step, we have to train teachers for indicating where we changed and why we changed. It is just like a conveyor belt system. Yeah, everyone involved. Thank you.
Yes, a question.
Thank you very much. My name is Eric Nidenganya. I am from African Leadership University. So my question goes to discussions that you've been talking about. And to me, I really appreciate that government of Rwanda and REB in general has transferred education from knowledge-based curriculum to competence-based curriculum. And it's a really good thing. And if it is going to be applied, it's good. But my question goes to vulnerable students and those students from marginalized areas, those one who has low abilities and access to quality learning materials. So what have you prepared for them? Remember, scenarios are in English, and some of those vulnerable students or students from marginalized areas are not aware of English. I mean, they barely speak English. So what are you doing for them that they can access this competence-based curriculum? Thank you.
This is a good question. As I said, our curriculum is dynamic. Being dynamic, what does it mean? It means that we have to cover all steps, all needs. After adopting national curriculum or textbooks at national level, we think also about special education need. We have already some schools, and you have our specialty in education. We changed. There's many curriculum, like intended curriculum. From intended curriculum, it is like reference books. We create other books, which is curriculum related to needs. Yeah. We think everything. We try, not all, because all we can lie, but we try the maximum. Thank you.
I can add that the two alumni leading the African Science Week event in Rwanda have also thought about those people in schools where they have low resources, low materials for laboratories, and through the outreach event, they are going to show them that science is possible with the little they have. So it's a good initiative they have planned as well. Do we have more questions? Yes.
Okay, so my name is Michael, and my question goes to Mr. Director. So you spoke about changing the curriculum every 10 years. Does that mean you have a teacher training something also every 10 years? Because if there is not, you change the curriculum in textbooks, but how sure are you the teachers they have the capability to compare with whatever you've changed in the textbook?
Thank you. After changing curriculum, as I said, we plan to train teachers countrywide. After training, we have another institution which is called NESA, National Examination and School Authority, who have responsibility to inspect, to conduct pedagogical inspection for checking if all teachers are aware with our innovation. There is control. As I said, work as a team in the conveyor belt system. Conveyor belt is like a manufacturing. There is entry. Entry, it is idea from everyone, from parents, students, teachers, stakeholders, partners, and we sit for adapting for curriculum. After changing, we publish. After publication, there's kind of dissemination for checking if everyone is aware, and we train. After training, there is another institution for conducting pedagogical inspection, if they are aware. Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's good to change the curriculum in order to respond to the market needs. But my question goes to harmonization, because REB changes the curriculum, but sometimes we note that they are not related to the university programs. So I would like to ask if you engage the universities during the revision of the curriculum, because finally the secondary school students go to the university, and it's the university that shapes the professionals that we have at the market. Thank you.
Thank you so much. During changing curriculum, we consider all steps from pre-primary schools to university. Our ambition to arrive to secondary school, but as our outcomes are fruitful for universities, it is why before changing any curriculum or any textbooks or any framework, we sit with universities. We sit together, we present our disparities. We say that we have to focus on A, B, C, D related to each level. After agreement, universities are aware about our activities. First year of entry in universities know exactly background from their student from secondary school. If not, we can create a gap. When we remove some topics, for example, I can give you an example. After survey, most of teachers and students said that our textbook is too volume compared to hours prepared for teaching and learning. That means we have to reduce. When we reduce content, we have to make sure if university is informed where university have to start. That means our changing can affect program for university. That means after changing, university have to do amendments on the program. This is our channel. Yeah.
Do we have any other question from the audience? Any question or additional comment? Even appreciation? We still have 10 minutes. Every country is joining our live streaming. I can ask the communication team to project the live session. We'll be starting in 10 minutes, so we can still take 2 questions. Yes, please.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Jean-Claude Shrimaka from GS HVP Gatagara. It's a special school from Rwamagana district. And it is a school for visually impaired students. My question goes strictly to the rep representative. You said every 10 years the curriculum is revised and sometimes changed. So what do you think about the students with disabilities? As you know, no one should be left behind in teaching and learning. I'm saying this because we as teachers from the special schools, we struggle preparing teaching resources, adapting resources to the type of disability of our students. So I want to ask you, what do you think about the students with disabilities when you are preparing the resources, especially textbooks and other related resources that can be accessible to students with disabilities? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. In the Rwanda Basic Education Board, we have a unit which is in charge with special education need. Even you have in the ICT department a unit which is in charge with teaching and learning materials related to special education need. As I said in the previous minute,
do hands-on experiment using local resources, materials, to encourage students that even in low resources, science is possible. Thank you.
And then, can you stand up, maybe clap, stand up and all clap for Rwanda. Go to the middle, go to the middle there, go to the middle there. You go to the middle. All right. Can you clap, all of us, say, hello, let's clap for the African Science Week in Rwanda. Can you clap? Oh. Someone is against this event. Who is that person? Can we do it again? Okay. Not me. Remove me from the screen. Put the video on the EMSA alumni, the massacred people. Okay. Yes, that's what I wanted. Can you clap? Can you clap for these people who really wanted to make sure this is the leader? All right. So that's what we need. Oh, Fash, thank you very much for supporting us. Thank you very much. This is beautiful. That picture, you put it on your CV to say, leadership, look at my CV. Simple. All right. So, I don't know. Thank you very much, people in Rwanda. I'm biased. I'm here. But next time, Fash, you should be in Nigeria. I don't know why your ticket did not buy it. We're going to send you to Ghana or maybe Ethiopia. All right, let's go to South Africa, assuming that Nigeria is still finalizing the official remarks. Yes, that is South Africa. You see the color? You know how South Africa is. continent. 54 countries connected. Okay, being connected is one thing, but talking about science is very important because it's very common. Science is a common language. Like if you're in Nigeria, Ethiopia, when you speak science, people understand. It's not a language like in Rwanda or French or English, but it's a language for communication in terms of scientific discovery. Science is universal. If you can get 54 African countries, and in each country to mobilize like 5,000 or 10,000, if you can manage to mobilize 10,000 young Rwandan, talk to them about science, demystify it, make sure that they can actually practice, move away from theory. What is the face of Rwanda will have if you do that? And then multiply this by the number of young people that you have as we're talking about mentorship. So we have an opportunity through this program to really drive change in our community, to change things in a manner that we are contributing to the development of our specific community, countries, and the continent as a whole. So yes, I don't want to say unfortunately, because I wanted to let the other people maybe continue with their activity. Yes.
Nigeria is ready.
Okay, Nigeria is ready. You know, Nigeria is the most popular country in Africa. They always come like Nigeria. Come on. So Nigeria, if you are, we just wanted to put you in the middle of a screen. If you can also share with us how is the launch happening in Nigeria and what are the plans for the day ahead. Nigeria, over to you. Please remember to unmute. We can see you now. You are in the middle of a screen here. Remember to unmute. Just tell us how things are going there and what are the plans for the days ahead. So, is it possible to do that? Team in Nigeria, I think your camera is now off. I don't know why. No, that's not what we want. We want Nigeria. Sorry? I'm saying, team in Nigeria, if you can ask your audience, they may be. And as we said, we expect your support. Support as much as you can. If you really wanted to know in Rwanda what to do, Jeanette and then Yvette, can you stand up? You can. These are the people you need to talk to. And then we want to clap for you again because it's very important for us to be here because of what you did. A lot of work, huh? Can you clap for this team? If you want to support, you identify a province or a place, a district that they want to go, you want to come with us, talk to them. We'll be more than happy. And thank you very much also for the EMSA coordinating team, everyone who has been involved to ensure that we have this official answer. And Joyce, over to you, if you can take us through the next step. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Charles, and thank you to all participating countries across the network. It's good to see all your events. It's truly inspiring to witness this continental collaboration and shared commitment towards advancing science, education, and innovation. So thank you to all the countries. We will now proceed to our first panel discussion in Rwanda, which is titled, Can Africa's Youth Harness Science Without Laboratories? To guide us through this session, I would like to invite Daniel Nizere to moderate and introduce us to our panelists.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this panel discussion under the EMSA Alumni-led Africa Science Week 2026. Our discussion today asks an important question: how can Africa harness science without laboratories? Across the continent, millions of young people are learning science in the environment with limited equipment, limited practical exposure, and unequal access to resources. Yet, at the same time, Africa is home of extraordinary creativity, innovation, resilience, and youth potential. So today we explore not only the challenge, but also the possibilities. What truly makes science education meaningful? Can improvisation and innovation bridge infrastructure gap? Are we redefining practical science for the African context? And what conditions are necessary for young African to genuinely harness science and innovation? So we are honored to be joined by an exceptional panel representation representing the policy, the classroom experience, research, innovation, and the innovation. So joining us today is Jean-Pierre Nsengimana. Please welcome on the panel. He's the director of Mathematics and Science Unity at the Rwanda Basic Education Board. And Ugwaneza Glass. She's a Nord science teacher at Byumba Inyanji. Bintu Nimana Splie, a STEM educationist and innovation expert, the former science learning advisor at IEE. Ngendehimana Celestin, he's the researcher and the PhD candidate at University of Rwanda, experienced in teaching and learning material development included but not limited to improvisation resource and the education technology tools. So I won't be alone hosting this panel. I want to invite my colleague, Anatali. Please, Anatali, come and lead the panel. Thank you, Anatali. You can greet the panel first.
Thank you so much. As he said, my name is Anatali Nidukunda, and I'm so glad to be here, and I am the co-host of this panel today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to start asking everyone on the panel. When we talk about science education in Africa, actually many people immediately think about equipment and the big laboratories equipped from every shell. So, but in your view, what does it truly take for a young Africa to meaningfully experience and harness the science? I would like to start from Jean-Pierre. What really true means for African scientists or youth to experience science? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As you said, when you said about science, most of people, most of researchers understand laboratory, but we have to think beyond laboratory. Science is a real life. Every year we go, which we navigate, when we speak, how we measure our days, our activities, when we plan our activities, everything we do, science is behind. Laboratory, it is one of part for teaching and learning sciences. I think it is all.
Science is life, you say. Thank you very much. Ms. Glass, on a classroom perspective, what do you think it really truly means for Africa youth to harness science?
Truly, science is a life, and from my experience, runner born with curiosity. As our many schools has no laboratory, we may start using our local materials, like some materials in the kitchen, our market, by starting to help them to employing the science in their daily life. I think as the science concept we teach in our classroom, we found it in our everyday life. And if we encourage our students to practice it, they may use it and open many doors by using that science. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You talked about the curiosity, how our youth, actually our kids are born with the curiosity. This is an interesting point. Mr. Spirian, you have been working with the teachers in different ways. So what really truly means for Africa science or Africa youth to harness science according to you?
Okay, thank you very much.
To me, the youth to meaningful experience and enhance science, first of all, they must understand what meant by science. So science, based on critical thinking and evidence that can allow them to draw a critical conclusion. So apart from laboratories and equipment, in order to enhance the science, we need to strengthen the quality teaching. Once I said the quality teaching, here is to engage science teachers within a full package related with how they can deliver science effectively without standing before students and delivering content, but they can relate science with the real life challenge and even provide the way those challenges can be solved through the science in the class. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Make them meet the real life challenge and link it with the science. Mr. Celeste, according to you, building on what Ada has said, what leaders did truly take?
So, thank you. Simply as the previous one said, science is life. It means that really we need to train our young people, especially from the real classroom, really where you can exposure the real practice that help read the students through learning by doing, practice what the students really do into the real life. Even when you refer to them, let's take the case of our contest. It means that our curriculum is clear. Really, it is a curriculum where we intend really the learner learning by doing. But when referred to the real contest, it means that still we face the challenge related to the access, even the materials that really help the teachers to help the students really to co-create or to link what the concept of the science concept. Because the science, even the STEM, it is like the cornerstone of our daily life, even in agriculture, health, medicine, and so on. That's why really those challenges sometimes comes and affect our educational, our learning outcomes, especially from the students really who do the science or STEM subject. So now, as the teachers really shared the experience, how really now the teacher tackle to those challenges, right? Without the strategy like innovation, how can you use those local resources, and how can you use the technology in order really for leading the teaching and learning effectively. It means that those concepts, especially for local resources, also it is somehow really initiate the mind zone of both teachers and the students really to try to link the concept into the real life context, because the STEM or science, it is our daily life. Thank you
very much.
Okay, thank you so much. The next question goes to Jean-Pierre. How should education policy respond to the gap between ambitious STEM curriculum and the reality that many schools still lack adequate laboratory infrastructure?
Thank you. This is a common question in many countries in Africa. Last year in November, I was in program, in the GPF program, Global Professional Framework. I was with participants from Ethiopia, from Nigeria, Zambia, Namibia, Bangladesh. When we try to analyze our program, especially in science and mathematics, in the world, there is common question, as you said: gap, insufficient of infrastructure, our research, I talk as a researcher, teacher-student ratio was 100, between 180 and 100. Also, for teaching science, we need hands-on activity. It is why, on the government side, we continue to construct related laboratories and classrooms progressively. This is one of the solutions. And we have to provide qualified teachers for facilitating our runners. Thank you.
If I may jump in a bit, you talked about the big classroom and the question being common everywhere. So should we say that practical science should be defined beyond the conventional laboratories?
Practical science, we don't need only laboratory. As you said, everywhere we move, we can plan, depending on the nature of practice or science. Laboratory is one of part, but even you can use classrooms. Even you can use school compound for teaching and learning sciences.
Thank you so much, Jean-Pierre. He said even you can use school compound. So I want to ask Grace, as a teacher, what are the biggest barriers to practical science teaching in your experience, and how have you adapted despite limited resources?
Thank you, Anatari. For me, the big challenge is not a laboratory, but for me, the big challenge is time management, class size, also the focus to finalize the syllabus. Based on that class size, we've limited the resources to practice science. We adapted to demonstration. We adapted to some innovation practice, improvisation, etc. But I focus to the government, also to the other team, to recognize the teacher, how I can say, to recognize that capacity of that teacher, the time they put for those students based on that curriculum, the big curriculum, big size, but we still managing it to help our students. Then we try. We try, and also they make it.
That is a really interesting point. But also a challenge, as you mentioned, the big classroom. But also I want to ask, you mentioned about the improvisation being an alternative for laboratories. But also I might ask the question, can really improvisation genuinely maintain the quality that science needs? You can still answer, Grass can still take out on that, and maybe Spray can add that.
Could you repeat?
Can improvisation genuinely maintain the quality that the science needs?
Yes, of course. As the student become extremely creativity, and if we give the opportunity, they put that science in their daily activity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Mr. Cyprian, it comes to creativity and innovation. So now over to you. Can really innovation, scientific thinking, and problem solving exist or flourish in a low resources environment?
Thank you, Mr. Daniel. As my colleague said, science is our real life. This means that the science is made from our locally available materials. By adopting those locally resources that are available in our community, the science should be well understood by our learners. Let us take an example, a good example. We have learned that science shows how the universe is expanding. For example, from the Big Bang theory, the one that explains well how the universe is expanding from a hot dense state and extremely expand over time. So by considering that simple example, learners can't understand such kind of things because they can't observe such situation. But please, you can use the simple material, for example, the baron, and you can ask them to expose it to the heat and ask what they can observe. So you can relate such simple life situation within a Big Bang theory, and the learner will understand clearly how the universe expands, and will be able to understand the red shift and blue shift from the cosmology of the universe. This means that by engaging our teachers, and as our teachers, only the central point of developing the science, we have first of all to engage them and let themselves understand the way they can simplify the science, and let the learners to consider that the science is a tough thing. So as the one that always interactive teachers, I have seen and I have the mental picture of it where teachers themselves, even today, they didn't take too much time to think about the practical activity by thinking that it requires much time, and even it is complicated. And as the syllabus is very huge, by employing the practical activities, they should not be able to complete the program. But as our head of science said, nowadays they are dealing with the adaptive and developing the syllabus. We have to ask them to think about such kind of things, to shorten the program and apply or simplify those very big content into simple content by employing hands-on activities like improvisation, and allowing teachers to think about the use of locally available material, as science itself is basing on the real life situation. Thank you very much.
That is really powerful. I have to go to Mr. Celestine as a researcher in that area of learning, developing, and learning materials, not limited to improvisation. So I want you to add on what Spian has said. Can really innovation, creative thinking, and problem solving exist in even at low resourced schools?
Okay, good poet. As Spirit said, it provides resources really can be any alternative or standard materials, especially for the developing country where there is a challenge related to them. It's sufficient of laboratory facilities. But here we are referring to the networking, even how really can the young African really create or train the future innovators, even the future engineer. So let's really refer to the challenge, even from our countries, even and also refer to the Africa, especially for sub-Saharan countries. So from the sub-Saharan country, really, most of countries transitioned from the teacher-centered approach to the learner-centered approach. And also refer to the teaching and learning philosophy of the science. We are the people or students really learn by doing. So for this concept, really, now the challenge we have, how our educator really understand those aspects, those challenges, and how really our educator can try to bring the innovation that helps students to develop their competence in terms of innovation, creativity, and problem-solving skills. Let's refer to our curriculum. So our curriculum, really, even in our curriculum, it tended to use those local available resources in the resources context, which is limited.
Yes.
But the challenge, even that's why really I requested the director of science, math and science in the lab, really, to reflect, even in the curriculum, it tended to use those resources. But there is no way how the teachers can develop those resources from local available materials. It means that the challenge we have now, it is about the teacher empowerment. And then the teacher, how the teacher, the perception, how the teacher really go in hands, really to use those resources available, even the school compound, in order to deliver those STEM concepts. Because, as we know, in the STEM subject, it means that is the subject where the field in its practical session really complement each other. It's better when really the students perform those hands-on activity that help really to understand those abstract concepts.
Okay, maybe to come back on that, is there other alternative other than like the local level materials? Do you have like other tools that can be used to complement the local available materials that sometimes also are not available? Like, for example, can we tap into the ICT tools and the other things that can also help the teachers?
So even when we refer to the study, especially for the study conduct, let's take like last 10 years. It means that really the technology, even the government, most of government, especially from those governments from sub-Saharan countries, really provide the basic infrastructure for supporting teaching and learning. But the challenge is about the empowerment, how the teacher really, if we have those resources, how can use it, and so on. It means that now the technology, even those local available materials, can be used to enhance or to improve our teaching and learning. But the challenge, as I said before, it is about the teacher empowerment. It is about the teacher's perception. Now, as the Spirit said, there is some teacher really told us the curriculum is heavy. But it is somehow really confirmed that the curriculum is heavy. But the challenge is about how the teacher really manage their teaching and learning activity, and what is the philosophy that the teacher really know to apply during teaching and learning activities.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Mr. Jean-Pierre. I see here that there is some tensions about like the availability, the access, and the teacher empowerment toward using it as materials, and it really important discussion. So could you tell us a bit like what the government is doing toward empowering the teachers, toward using the local available materials and the ICT tools, because I know that the government has implemented quite huge, invested quite huge into availability of internet and so on and so forth. Can you tell us like what the government is doing toward that?
Thank you so much. As I explained, Government Trust of Uganda Basic Education Board, we provide basic materials like science kits, and we send to all schools in Rwanda. Since in primary, we provide, as you said, he said that sometimes there is volume of work related to curriculum compared to teaching and learning hours. We pay attention on it. This is why we try to revise curriculum and textbook every 10 years. We plan also to train teachers, control ID, have a department who in charge to train teachers. This is process. I cannot ensure that we attend 100% to solve all problems 100%. But when we give a key, teacher, he's expert himself. When he finishes in the university, have a bachelor's degree in any career of science, he or she able to conduct science practice himself or herself. We hope. It is why we work together. On the website, we provide basic materials, like a practical, like a science kit. Every year, we try to improve, and we encourage also teachers to be dynamic for teaching and learning using their skills. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And this is very powerful what the government of Rwanda is really doing. I want to kind of come back to Celeste. He's a researcher in this field. So I want you to share us, what does the country research suggest the most effective and sustainable way to improve practical science learning, and where resources are limited, what the research are showing, what should be adopted?
Okay, good poet. Now, what can really reflect, as I said, it is really reflect to the challenge we have, and also how the policymaker really recognize the findings from the studies. That is really the room of collaboration of the researchers, even the educational institution board. So the research really highlighted that in the local resources, which is limited, especially for developing country, even when referred to the sub-Saharan country, where most of the country transition from the teacher-centered approach to student-centered approach. And there is the three main challenges about the laboratory facilities, about the teachers, proficiency, but also about the large class size. So, for those challenges now, he recommend most of the study refer to the empowerment of the teachers, only the development and use of those improvised resources, even the educational technology tools, because for our context, really the government provides the laptop to the teachers, even internet to the school, even there is electricity. But there is a challenge, how really the teacher can use those resources. Let's give any example. Even the teacher, we have many teachers here, so we can share some insightful. So, let's take any case of the school, have the electricity. But the electricity is only for the school administration staff and only smart classroom. While the room where the students really learn, there is no electricity. How the teacher really use those kind of educational technology tools? It means somehow really there is a gap, even you have some basic infrastructures, and how those infrastructures really is accessible, especially for the teacher, is somehow limited.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe to manage well the time, I guess there is still a gap in providing the infrastructure to all the schools, and also the Mr. Jean-Pierre talked about that. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Spilian, you have been into the other tools like ICT-based tools that also complement the improvisation and so on and so forth for the teacher. Can you tell us some of the tools that can also be used to harness science?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Apart from using local available materials, Also, we always encouraged to employ integration of ICT in teaching and learning of science subject. So the government of Rwanda always strive to provide tools like laptops, smart classroom with all necessary equipment to engage learners by using ICT tools. Through that initiative, teachers can also adopt the methodology of using simulations. There are different types of simulations like PhET, where some practical activities cannot be performed well. They can also adopt simulations like PhET, and they also make sure that teachers are well equipped with such skills so that PhET simulation also can be employed in teaching and learning process. And also, I want to stress about on inquiry-based learning methodology. Once a teacher prepare lesson by reflecting about the inquiry-based learning methodology, each and everyone should keep in mind the practical activity in one way or another, either by using improvisation or ICT tools where possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I have another question, and all of you, you may give your perspective briefly. If we are seriously want to strengthen the science learning opportunity for Africa youth, and we are looking ahead, what is the priority areas that deserve great attention? We have mentioned various gaps, but there is a great priority where we can focus or put a lot of attention. So we may start with Jean-Pierre, and all of us will give our perspective about that. Thank you.
Thank you. After experience, after analyzing, after understanding, many efforts, according to me, we have to put emphasis on practice, like ethno. Ethno is technical, means culture. I can explain it by using an example. According to Alan Bishop, it is Australian researchers, write textbooks which is called ethnomathematics, means cultural mathematics. That means let us move out to school and go to practice. Let us try to avoid kind of memorization, try to understand. This is ethno-science or ethno-mathematics. We have to put many emphasis to practice. By practice, we can we can find solution ourselves without asking many materials or many support. This is one of the direction. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Grace.
Thank you. For me, the important priority is ensuring the teachers are motivated and supported, and also given time to prepare strengthening lessons. As the rep started to ameliorate the content, I think also that was taken into consideration. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. According to me, the higher priority should be made to the capacity building of teachers, basing about the inquiry-based learning methodology, where learners themselves should be fully involved in the lesson and getting ready to be supported by teacher as a notion of scaffolding theory said, so that the learner should be first given time to explore and then teacher give the support where necessary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I feel the purity, it is the umbrella where we can refer to the implementer, which is the teacher. It means that the purity is empowering the teacher about the teaching and learning pedagogy, especially like equally based learning, even the project-based learning, that really help to train the young people really to be able to understand the concept to the real life context, and also if that the future we have the many innovators and engineers based on those cornerstone, especially for STEM subject.
Thank you very much. At least I hear that we are somehow getting to a conclusion. Now we are focusing, we are now pointing at one thing, which is now that students should be given opportunity and teachers should be empowered. Thank you very much. So I want to turn it to the audience and maybe have 2 to 3 questions so that we can continue. See.
Okay, thank you so much. It's insightful. My question goes to Superior. So I was wondering, like, we are in the world of the AI. We don't have ability to stop like AI. We don't have ability to stop our student using ChatGPT or anything. So, but we still using like, you know, the local way. So we still like assessing, evaluating the student based like memorization, like, cause we teach them and then we ask the question based on the you know, the way we teach. So, which means that it's like a kind of the memorization, not like innovative. So, how just you solve those issues for memorization and then build system that make like assessing the student about their ability, not like a memorization, because you teach them and then you ask the question related to what you teach them. And another question, in such a system of using like local materials, so do we evaluate the student to real scientific ability or just their ability to adapt the limited resources? Because if we are in the standard, so if we use local materials, how make sure that they are able or they are on the standard level for the competition? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for asking an interesting question. For me, the second question should be the answer of the first. As he said, we are dealing with the issue of memorization methodology, which was becoming what? A daily situation in our education system, where teachers stand in front of learners and teach. So from the beginning of this conversation, we have discussed about such kind of issue can be solved and converted from teacher knowledge-based to competency-based methodology, where learner should be the central point of learning. So this one should be solved by employing what was the second question, where using local available material where possible, because as you know, science is very big, is very huge. Some concept brings constraint where they cannot be solved by using local available material. For such kind of issue, you can use ICT integration, where faith can be a favorable methodology, theta simulation, and others type of simulations where learner they can manipulate variables and observe outcome. So using local available material can solve both two sides of coin, where they can use in the case of scarcity of standard materials, but also can be used in the way of engaging learners to relate science within our daily life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cyprien. Welcome. Maybe one more question, because we're running out of time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So my question goes to Honorable Jean-Pierre from REB. So I personally believe that, technology and innovation can really be assisted when you have equal distribution of learning materials and everything. So my question always has been, how do you distribute the learning materials? Like for me, where I come from, I'm from Huye district, and I studied daily external school, and I have really experienced this kind of lack of learning materials like computers, where you can see one school from town, it's a called secondaire, but it has more computers and everything that they need to thrive, and another school from maybe a bit rural area doesn't have any computer, and there is no internet at all. So my question has been always, how do you distribute the materials, and isn't that affecting some of the schools?
Thank you. This question is only not question for REB. It can cover many institutions, many ministries. For example, as you said, there is some schools without electricity. If there is no electricity, it's too difficult to starting by smart classroom. We have to start by finding electricity, accessibility also, the road, water. That means it's a challenge. But on the website, we have all datas. Rural area, urban area, we have all data, district by district, sector by sector, and we try to solve this problem in partnership with other institutions, as I said. It's a progress, it's a process, and we hope by a certain time we'll cover all countries without any kind of problem. It is our mission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, the panelists. Thank you very much for the audience. You have another question. I'm sorry, but I'm really running out of time here. But please.
Yeah, it was a follow-up question on what you said. So there are some also schools which have those kind of resources that they need, but also I guess I don't know how you do follow-ups on how they use them, because some of the schools, they have computers, but the way they use them, they never give access to students. Like me, I experienced that. I'm speaking from experience. Like they have computers, but it's rarely to see a student using that computer. And whenever they go there, they are not even allowed to do something really incredible. There is no way that I'm going to innovate, yet I don't even have access to what is there to innovate.
Jean-Pierre?
Thank you. As I said, for your particular cases, I recommend it to you, first choose your skills. Every teacher with own question or with own particular cases, try to find any solution. But on the website, as I said, we grant to equip, to give all materials, to train teachers. Even some schools say that there's many materials without knowing how to use it. It's a challenge, but as I said, when you think everything on the website, sometimes can be difficult because you cannot solve all problems, but we hope. Most of teachers are dynamic and as experts for teaching, they can solve some problem themselves without any kind of assistance from them. But we keep it and we have to pay attention accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jean-Pierre. I think education is not only for the government, for everyone taking a part. So to close, coming to a closure, I want everyone's reflection from the panelists. Please, you are going to complete this small sentence in one word, please, or two. Africa's scientific future depends on.
I can say depends on practice and progress.
Glass.
Hard working and innovation.
Hard working and innovation.
Depends on quality teaching.
Quality teaching, thank you.
I think it depends on empowering young people with the opportunity to explore, to innovate, and to resolve real problems to our context.
Thank you very much. It depends on empowering young people. So thank you to our distinguished panelists and to our audience for this rich discussion. Today's conversation reminded us that the future of Africa science education is not only about building or equipments. It is also about curiosity, creativity, equity, teacher empowerment, and the courage to rethink how science is experienced and taught. So perhaps the real question is not whether Africa's youth can harness science without laboratories. Instead, whether Africa can afford to leave 1 million of young people waiting for perfect condition before they are allowed to experiment, innovate, and discover. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our moderators and to our panelists for this insightful and thought-provoking discussion. Thank you as well to the audience for your active participation and questions. We will now take an official group picture for this event. I kindly ask the communication team to guide us where we can take the picture, and after the group picture we will have lunch all together, which is served at the restaurant. We have lunch vouchers for everyone. They are with the protocol team. When you step out, you can take your voucher and then go to lunch. We will be back at, let's say, 1:45 to continue with our afternoon session. For the photo,
thank you, Joyeuse. I would like to call a few volunteers to help us remove these chairs. We're going to take a photo, all of us on the stage. I would like to kindly request our guests to get ready. We have the guests in the first row seated. Then we have everyone else right behind them. Some want to volunteer? Thank you. My apologies. So we're going to have these smaller black chairs to make, thank you, yes.
No volunteers, young people.
Our guests, please do follow Dr. Charles. You'll be seated on this first floor. And then everyone else, please step up on the stage. We'll all be standing behind the guests as well as our organizers. Thank you all.
A reminder to take your voucher to have lunch. Yes, outside. The protocol team will help you.
Saw you standing by the doorway, moonlight dancing on your face. I kept walking past you slowly, trying hard to hide the way. My whole world began to shake every time you look my way. I don't wanna lose this moment, don't wanna let you walk away. Been replaying every second, trying to find the words to say. Can I call you at midnight? tell you everything I hide, every feeling deep inside. Baby, stay on the line. I've been waiting my whole life just to hear you say you're mine. Can I call you at midnight and finally make it right? Yeah. Ooh. Now I'm sitting by my window, phone light glowing in the dark, thinking maybe if I reach out, you could heal this lonely heart. Girl, you shine just like a star, even from where we are. I don't wanna keep pretending like you never crossed my mind. Every little conversation keeps replaying all the time. Call you at midnight, oh, tell you everything I hide, every feeling deep inside. Baby, stay on the line. I've been waiting my whole life just to hear you say you're mine. Oh, can I call you at midnight and finally make it right? Oh, if love is just a chance we take, then tonight I won't be afraid. No more running from the truth. Girl, my heart belongs to you. Can I call you at midnight? Hold your voice until sunrise. Ooh, let the city fade away. Hey, while our hearts collide. I've been dreaming every night, oh, about the day you would be mine. Can I call you at midnight? Baby, don't say goodbye. At midnight, oh, can I call you, baby, tonight?
This session will include interactive discussion with educators and stakeholders working indirectly within different learning environments. We look forward to another engaging conversation. Let me welcome Daniel. Thank you.
Once again, good afternoon, and welcome to our afternoon panel under the MZ Alumni-led Africa Science Week 2026. As the MC has said, my name is Daniel Nizere, and I'll be moderating the session. So throughout the day, we have been exploring science not as a subject, but as a tool for empowerment, creativity, innovation, and opportunities. This afternoon, we shift our focus toward an equally important questioning: how can science classroom become truly inclusive? Across Africa, many learners continue to face a barrier that limits their participation in science education. This barrier may include the lack of resource, disability-related challenge, language barrier, displacement, and refugee experience, as well as gender expectation or social attitude that affect confidence. Yet inclusion is not simply about access to classroom, it is also about whether every learner feels seen, supported, encouraged, and capable of participating fully in science learning. So, today's discussions bring together educators, practitioners, advocates, and the community voice to reflect on what truly inclusive education should look like, and what we can how we can move closer to that vision. So joining us today, I'm going to call upon the panelists. So if I call your name, you will come and sit. Joining us today, Wiseman Donat. A round of applause, please, to Wiseman Donat. He's a science teacher in a secondary school in Byumba. Now is Gichumbi. Welcome, Donat. Good. Shirimaka Jean-Claude. A round of applause to Shirimaka Jean-Claude. He's a science teacher at HVP in Luamagana. He works very closely with learners with disability, including blind runners. So he will take us through how he actually does that. Muson Darin. Muson Darin is a special need expert with over 10 years of practical work in different countries. He's also the founder and the CEO of Special Needs Center Rwanda Advocates, a center that helps children with disability around Rwanda from age of 10 and to 14, with a theme that no child should be left aside, and advocating for inclusive education. So he will also share give us his experience. Kwibuka Jack. Kwibuka Jack. I think okay, great. Kwibuka Jack, he's a UN leader for SDGs, GPE YAF leader, board member of Rwanda Public Health Association, the founder and executive director of Informed Future Generation, that empower YAF to make informed decisions regarding their sexual reproductive health and right and gender and mental health. So also going is Colette Niteyeka, PhD. And most importantly, she's a NAMS alumni. Please a round of applause to her. She's also advocate for girls and women in STEM, researcher in industrial mathematics. Thank you all for joining us. And Nathalie, how come I talk about you last? She's my co-host. Please, you take that seat. And so now let's jump into our well-deserved conversation. Thank you very much and welcome on this panel discussion. I'm going to start asking a simple question but also a difficult one. And this one goes to all the panelists. And I'll be starting from Mr. Donat. When we speak about inclusion in science education, what does a truly inclusive science classroom actually look and feel like?
Thank you. This is a good question. And I'm going to try to respond to it. Inclusive education in a classroom situation has different aspects. But when we talk about a school where inclusion has taken place, inclusion is a culture, you see that all students are not isolated. They are like members of a community in the school, so that they can share activities, ideas, and learn together in order to achieve their goals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A student should make a community feel included. Shilimaka, over to you. What truly an inclusive classroom look like and feel like?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about a science classroom, but not only a science classroom, but a science classroom, but which is inclusive. First of all, when we are teaching, like teachers, we need first of all to understand that in our classroom environment, every runner or every student is following well what we are teaching, or the concept we are delivering to the student is accessible to every runner. So an inclusive science classroom, it is a classroom where every student, every learner is participating actively, regardless his type of disability. I want to mean the one with sight, hearing, and deaf disability. In that classroom, he or she must participate actively. And that classroom, in that classroom, it feels like belonging. So it is a classroom where everyone belongs, and that classroom brings flexibility to every student. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jean-Claude. It is a classroom where every student feels like he or she belongs there, accepted. Darren.
Thank you very much. When we talk about a class of science inclusive class, first of all, I'll talk about inclusion. When we talk about inclusion, it means everyone has to find themselves in the class and feel valued and also accepted. So in my opinion, an inclusive school, an inclusive classroom needs to be like it needs to value like each and every student. Each and every student needs to feel safe. So it needs to be like a safe place for them, for learning, different learners, and it shouldn't be like it's affecting their disability or learning differences. It should be welcoming, meaning different methods of learning, different methods of teaching, and also allowing our teachers or educators to explore around the environment, meaning like it has to be hands-on, it has to explore, like we have environmental learners, we have visual learners, so all that needs to be in a classroom for it to be an inclusive classroom.
That's very powerful, thank you very much. Mr. Jack, what's your take on how should an inclusive classroom look like?
Thank you. For me, in my perspectives, as a youth advocate and public policy student, an inclusive classroom should be like a classroom where every student shares the same opportunities, responsibilities, and rights for individualized success, regardless of their background, language, disability, or in social position or status. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome very much. Correct. on a gender perspective, and what your take on what should like an inclusive class look like?
Okay, thank you very much. In my opinion, an inclusive science classroom should be the place where, as they mentioned, every student feels safe, feels like supported, and also he feels capable of participating in any science subject discussions, especially girls. We have experienced in many situations that they left behind. We have a tendency that science subject girls are a bit scared, or they don't show up as fast as boys in school, in high school, or in lower levels. So for inclusion, when we talk about inclusion, classrooms, they should be emphasizing on engaging every student, whether it's despite the gender background or any other socio-economic status, for instance, and emphasize on the fact that everyone feels like this is my classroom. It's a science classroom, and everybody feels like I belong to this classroom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wow. So what we are already hearing is that inclusion is far more than physically present in a classroom, but it's about participation, confidence, accessibility, and belonging.
Yes.
So go to the next question. I would like to ask you, Donat. In many schools, teachers are expected to deliver practical sciences lessons with limited resources. How does this affect inclusion in the classroom, and which learners are most affected?
Thank you. The question is about limited resources and how they affect learners' growth, learning in a classroom. So when you talk about limited resources, I would like to emphasize on this. Someone here may think that it is a few test tube, few cell holders, few chemicals in a classroom or in a school. Me, I go beyond that. I think that limited resources means many things. You should have a few test tubes, few materials, like I said, but also in a school where you have no budget for buying consumables, should be put in limited resources. The resources are limited. Lack of experienced teacher to conduct experiment. It is also another issue in limited resources. You should have different sources, like internet connection, like we have said in the morning, but those issues in the environment of the school may be classified in limited resources. So there's limited resources, how they affect inclusive education in our schools. They hinder implementation of inclusive, because when you see that the resources are limited, teachers default to content only. They rely on books, on textbooks, and the teaching methodology become chalk and talk methodology instead of manipulating, observation, and making experiment which will help learners. So the student with disabilities will not be engaged in the teacher-centered method, where teacher is there, is lecturing, and the students are only observers. The last question you asked was saying who are most affected by this lack of resources. In my experience, those who are the most affected are learners with disabilities. And the disabilities are different in the classroom. A teacher with an overcrowded class will not be able to structure instruction in the classroom lesson so that all learners will be seen in that lesson. Depending on their disabilities, high achievers will follow the teacher and low students will be passive only. Thank you.
What strategies have you found effective in helping more learners participate effectively despite those constraints?
Okay, despite those constraints, some strategies may be implemented by teachers, like improvisation, in order to use locally available materials if the materials in the laboratory are not well equipped. Teacher should improvise, should make improvisation. Also, teacher should review the way of giving instruction during learning activities so that all learners, like learners with language barrier, can access the instruction. And in this kind of changing instruction, he may use audio, visual, diagrams instead of using all written materials only. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe I'll go next to Mr. Jean-Claude. From the inclusion perspective, do you see a similar pattern like what Mr. Donat has been saying?
Thank you so much. About what my fellow finished to talk about. For sure, we can't talk about science without talking about experiments, without talking about the practicals. So when it comes about people with disabilities, let me talk about people with visual disability and blind, also to people with deaf and hearing impairment. The act of teaching, we are teachers, and we have even studied how to teach science and mathematics, but when it comes about the inclusion, it requires something like adaptation. So when you are going to conduct a practical activity, you need also, first of all, to adapt it to the student with disabilities. So when it comes about the limited resources, normally the practicals must be carried out when there are resources. And where there is no space or apparatus, we are supposed to improvise ourselves as teachers. So when it comes for people with, for example, blind and visual disability,
we not only use the local materials, we need, first of all, to tackle on their way of getting communication. We need to be aware with Braille, we need to be aware with the tactile graphics and scenario. When you want to conduct the experiment, you also need to be in the place of the one who is not able to see. Because most of the experiments requires someone to see. Even when we are talking about the way we conduct the experiment, we need to talk about the observations. So for the one who cannot able to see, we need to think how we can deliver, how we can share the information with others who can see. Thank you.
Yeah, I can hear that the limited resources affect many learners, but some groups face additional barriers that are often less visible in a science classroom. But Shirimaka, I want to stick with you a little bit. You know, from your experience teaching learners with visual impairment and the other disabilities. So, what are the most or the biggest barrier that you are facing?
Okay, thank you for your question. The barrier is that, as they have stated in the previous question, it is limited resources. Remember, we as teachers, we need to prepare teaching and learning materials. So while we are preparing the teaching and learning materials, we need to adapt to the students with disabilities. So the most barrier I have made is that sometimes people with disabilities, the way they live, many people don't think. Even though we are here, when I say I am a teacher of mathematics and I teach blind students, many people are surprised. Yeah. And they ask themselves, how do you teach?
Yeah, actually,
how do you help those students? Yeah. So you need, first of all, to put in the place of those people, and you imagine yourself, if you cannot see, how can you catch the concept, or how can you understand the concept when you cannot see? So the most barrier is that the limited resources affect us as teachers working in special schools, because those people with disability, sometimes they require the special apparatus, the special teaching materials designed for their type of disability.
Thank you very much, Jean-Claude. This is very powerful. I'm going to send somehow this question to Darren. Mr. Darren, you work with also people with disability at your center, and you deal with education and other activities. So what is the most challenge that you're meeting, like in that aspect?
Thank you. The most challenging part is actually getting to know the child's disability, meaning we still have limited resources whereby the children who are being given are not diagnosed, meaning you can't know like the child has SED or the child has Asperger syndrome, to mention a few. So it's still aligning there. And also another thing is we don't have trained professions, meaning the speech therapists, the occupation therapists. So it's still a challenge in the education system whereby we don't have trained staff to deal with the students we're dealing with, even though we're trying, but then there's still that huge gap. And to correct it, usually at our center, we have like PD sessions every Friday, whereby a teacher or an educator takes on a course. It can be online, and then it's evaluated like monthly, and then they get to understand what they're dealing with in that framework they're doing.
Thank you very much. So you empower the teachers so that they know what they're doing. Yeah. So going to Jack, Mr. Jack, so building on what the previous speaker have been talking about, the challenges toward the disability. So what additional challenge do refugee learners face in science education, particularly around the language, continuity of learning, and belonging?
Thank you. Additional challenges, especially for refugee learners in science education.
You can try to speak louder or bring your mic closer.
Okay. I was just saying additional challenges to refugee learners in science education are somehow going to be similar to others, but specific for refugees, as they face mental health issues, which is the primary challenge they face, because of that kind of displacement that happens. So they face different mental health issues, which is rooted in a lack of connection with their family members, and also they get language barriers in their education because you can't understand science, just formulas without understanding the explanation. So they face that language. And also you can't forget that due to social expectations, which they have, and also the social expectation from the environment they are belonging in, they are not expected to be fully engaged in all activities as citizens of that country. Yeah. And also because of that mental health issues, language barriers, where the science really requires more focus to understand formulas, procedures, and other experiments that happens during that education, they also feel not to engage or to attend science educations, as they can't get enough time for that, in addition to other financial problems or issues, which is common, but when it becomes refugees, it becomes special for them.
So building on that, what do you think refugee learners help them feel included, and what would make them confident in science classroom?
In science classrooms for refugees, it should be better if there is some programs which are put in place for them to make sure that they feel belonged in that school environment, and also caring for their mental health, because of that mental health issues, they can't feel they can't feel welcomed within that school environment, and also building on that mental health issues, there should be home-based and school-based programs for their mental health issues. After resolving different mental health issues they are facing through different programs, they can feel welcomed and engaged in science education.
Thank you very much. And let me go back a bit to Darren before I come back to correct Mr. Darren. From your work supporting learners with special needs and their families, what are the biggest misconception or gaps that continue to limit inclusion in science education?
Thank you. The biggest misconception is the belief that children with special needs can strive in science. which is literally false, because like with the best materials being used according to their disabilities. For example, like at our center, we mix hands-on. We also have the Montessori program. It's kind of also like a hands-on. So it depends on the disability of the child, and then again, it depends on the methods we're using. So I believe it's this thing they usually say about that children with disabilities are less. In actual sense, they're not less, they're just different. But then it needs to start from us as parents, as educators, to start believing in our learners. When you encourage a learner to learn in a different way, all methods are different, all learners are different. Even us right in this room, we are totally different, and the way we approach our studies or the way we are taught is totally different. So we need to understand that and then not call it a belief of children with disabilities can strive in science, because they can for sure.
That's powerful.
Thank you so much. Let me go to Colette. Many girls perform well in science early on, but later they started to decline. So what do you think is causing that?
Thank you very much for the good question. As you all know, we experienced this. We have seen this in so many situations, especially in our developing countries. I might affirm that this disengagement, it's not caused by the incapability of girls pursuing science professions. Girls are capable of doing any field of their interest. They are very capable. The only factors that I might state are related to culture, like social factors or educational factors that can actually influence their confidence, that can influence like their identity or even their opportunities. So, for my opinion, when I see my experience, the society where I came from, in my generation, we didn't have many girls in science. I remember in all my classes, we were about like three, like at university, we were 3 girls in a class of 35. You can imagine that feeling. We sometimes have this feeling that we don't belong here. That gap between boys and girls, it's also caused by these beliefs, like the gender perspectives about science. In many societies, we tend to associate boys to science and girls to like caregiving professions. And this can easily decline or reduce the motivation in a girl, while even if a girl is performing well in, let's say, in math or in physics, when they don't see or when they continuously receive these messages or these perspectives that girls are just for these caregiving professions, you sometimes feel like we don't belong there. And also, in many societies, when you do this science profession or this science subject, sometimes they, as a person, you don't see the relevance immediately after you finish that profession. So the decline also can be caused by the indirect relevance of the science subject that the person is pursuing, and also the discouragement from the society, especially our culture, let's say
that has all those beliefs. Yeah.
Thank you so much. What do you think can schools do differently?
Okay, thank you again. Like I said, if we, not only at school, but also if schools can collaborate with, let's say, the community, this belief should change. Nowadays, we have policies everywhere that is focusing on inclusive education, so promoting gender in science. In many schools, we have this is saying we have on papers, but implementation is still layer. So schools should really mean what they committed to. They have to implement that. They have to actively increase the participation, gender participation in a science subject. For instance, science teachers, they should engage, learn how to engage engage girls in participating in subject, in science subject discussions, or take or laboratory experiment. I remember in most schools, when you go to a lab, you see many girls just, they stay behind. Only boys step forward when there is an equipment or we have to insert something. Most of the time, we ladies, we have this tendency to wait until the boy just steps forward. So we have, as in teachers, they have to intentionally engage these girls because they are capable of doing it, but we miss that engagement and also that encouragement. And also, every step of, whatever step they take, they have to be encouraged, kind of encouragement messages.
Okay, thank you so much. There was moment, teachers or someone else who helped you stay confident in doing science personally?
Okay, yeah, yes, and that's why I am where I am today. As I said, I'm personally from a discouraging family and community where nobody believed that I could do that kind of, that topic, that is science. They didn't like science. They wanted me to do something else. They wanted me to be like a nurse or a primary teacher, and I didn't like that. So what encouraged me when I was in high school, luckily I met a professor, teacher, who was really, he believed in me. He saw me, he believed in me, and he just, he was creating some supporting learning environment in a class, not only for me, but also for other students, and also had this kind of encouraging every activity, every step you take, we were kind of receiving encouragement messages, and it does really helped me a lot, especially for someone, you know that there is at least someone who can believe in your capabilities.
Thank you so much. This is so interesting. You teachers, you have to believe in your students, more especially girls. So thank you.
That is really interesting and powerful point. Thank you, Anathari. So I want to make a point to go around the whole panel, but I will ask you to be very brief because I'm running out of the time. And you try to answer this question: is inclusion in science education mainly a resource challenge, or is it also about attitude, expectation, and classroom culture? Let me start with.
Thank you. inclusion by itself should not be considered as a challenge, but looking at it widely, I can give it 30% as a challenge. 70% will be the remaining, because the lack of limited resources which challenge us in teaching so that our classroom may become inclusive are not sufficient alone. Also, the role of the teacher is very important in order to implement inclusion in our system of education. A teacher, we have seen that a teacher can make improvisation even though there is no available materials, there is no conventional materials in laboratories. But the teacher's attitude, the teacher's responsibility in a class can contribute most in solving the problem of inclusive education. For example, if we have one microscope in a laboratory and you have to do an experiment for a group of learners, for a classroom activity, one teacher may conduct an experiment by himself or choose one student who perform well to conduct an experiment in front of others, and the remaining students become observers. While another teacher may use the same microscope to carry an activity, to carry an experiment by using different learners. Some may become manipulators, others may become observers and describing the fact they have observed. The other may write a report, and the last one may make a presentation in front of those students. You see, by one microscope, two teachers may teach differently. Instead of saying there is a lack of limited materials, two teachers may contribute differently to improve or to engage all learners in activities. So the teacher has 70% and the lack of materials may be 30%. Thank you.
Anyone who wants also to add to that, is it inclusion mainly resource challenge or an attitude expectation?
Thank you very much. My point of view
just be brief, like 30 seconds.
Yeah. So to me, it is science inclusive classroom. It is a cultural problem, not a limited resource problem. This is because you may be having a well-equipped laboratory, an expensive one. I can say $1 million lab, but still exclusive. But if you have the attitude and you have the knowledge about the inclusiveness or inclusion, even though there is no enough resources, you can try to include each and every student in your teaching and learning process.
Thank you very much, Jean-Claude. Even with few resources, you can include each and every student in your classroom. So turning it to the audience, I want to have 2 questions because really we ran out of the time, but please, we didn't start on time, so don't blame us. We are still in our time, but still I want to take on 2 questions from the audience to the panel so that we can close the session. Thank you very much. Okay, I have one question there and the other question there.
Thank you very much. My name is Mukaraja Eric, a teacher at GSC Nyamiyaga in Kamonyi district. I have one question from a volunteer, from any volunteer from panelists. Some of them, they said that the inclusive science classroom is a place where every student feel better in the purpose of success. We have the case, most of the school, where the teacher are not trained how they can support this, for example, the student with disabilities. And as you know, inclusion school is where the school receive all the kind of student. You may have, for example, 2 students in the classroom or 3. What advice can you give the teacher who teaches in that kind of classroom? Any volunteer from the panelists? Thank you.
Please, okay. Thank you for your question. Most of our teachers in our schools are not able to make their classroom inclusive. We have 2 categories. Some are well equipped with content knowledge. They have skills learned in their schools. Others are specialists in inclusive education, but they some of them may have lack skills in content in STEM subjects. So what I propose to our government is to regular organize training for those who have studied inclusive education, should be trained on the content mastery, especially in practical experiment. And those who have studied in universities content subject matters should be trained on how to handle different disabilities for better inclusive education in our system. Thank you.
Darren, can you add on that?
Okay. Limited resources like we talked about, but me, I'll just go on point. As teachers, we need to brainstorm. That's one. Meaning, I can give you an example. You can go online, Allison University, Coursera. Those are platforms that you can find online, and they give free courses about special needs. So usually, like, it's about exploring our internet we have, and also like self-learning. We are teachers, so we don't stop learning, we keep learning. So I can give you the example. Please go on Coursera, go on Allison, they're all free, and then you educate yourself more on how to deal with children with disabilities in your classroom.
Thank you very much, that was powerful. Another question, who was next? Thank you very much. So teachers, we always learn, we keep learning. Eh? We are not stopped by special need. Please go on.
All right, my name is Nyayat Lwaldeng. I'm from South Sudan and a student at the African Leadership University. So I had decided to remain silent, but when she mentioned something to do with inclusion, especially for ladies, and she brought up something to do with society. I come from a community where ladies are really not allowed to study, if I may say that, yeah. So when we talk about science, it's even more complicated because they think that it is only for men. So my question to my sister at the extreme end would be, what are some of the things that the African communities could put in place to make sure ladies remain in the science classroom while respecting the cultural values in our societies?
Okay, thank you very much. It's a quite interesting question. Our African culture is set like that, but with these advanced technologies, sciences, sometimes some beliefs are changing over time. So if schools or if other organizations in play, they can play somehow find out a platform where, or a way to incorporate the community with the school's objectives towards this inclusion in science education, they can start changing what they believe in. And the point is, most societies have those beliefs because they don't see a direct relevance of girls doing the science. It's difficult, and girls, there are so many things that they can easily do, conduct, for instance, or something like family related. Those are mainly pointing the females. But if schools, organizations, or institutions come up with a platform where also parents or the society have this understanding or of the relevance of the science, they can start changing their beliefs. I do believe in that. And also bringing some women scientists who were successful into the picture in dialogues, like we miss these examples of role models or just women in science who were successfully, who are successful. To just be there as a role model, we can, I do believe that the society also can value the science.
Thank you very much. The society can find the importance of science if we find the role model scientists to go into our community, especially female, but also the universities and the government institutions shall put in place a platform to educate in our society about the importance of science, and especially the importance of science with female participating in it. So let's have another question. Okay, we have another question there. Next time, please, let's move to the other direction so that we have the whole room. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My name is Justin. My question goes to all of the parents who are there in front of us. I just want to ask them, I have heard most of them talking about the inclusive education. Then I just want to ask you, the questions related to the inclusive, you talked about the special needs, especially to those who are deaf, visual cases, but I didn't heard any case related to the slow learners. Then I'm asking myself, are they slow learners included or not? That was my question.
So coming to the panelists, do you consider slow learners as a special need?
Thank you. They're not called slow learners. They're called, it's a different learning disability. Yes, we do consider them, like, for example, at my center, we have children on the spectrum, meaning they have autism. We have children with Asperger syndrome. We have children with Down syndrome. So they are totally like included in this in our center and also in our society.
Okay, thank you very much. I see you have a follow-up question.
Sorry for that. I just want to ask, are there special classes related to them, or they start from with others? Because if someone can use like 20 minutes, even to write the sentence, and you find someone is using like 5 minutes, Are they students on the same level?
Okay, thank you for your question. When we are talking about slow learners, we want to mean special educational needs. But we have two different words, but which want to mean like the same things. When we say special educational needs, are those learners which need special educational needs while you are teaching your subject. So when you are planning your lesson, in your lesson plan, you need to emphasize on those special educational needs. But when it comes special needs education, special educational need is why, but special education, special needs education is who. Someone can be a normal student, a student without disability, but have difficulties in learning subject. So that is special educational need. But another student can have disability, let's say visual disability, deaf disability, physical disability. So that type of disability requires special needs education for that student. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jimaka. Maybe to add on that, Mr. Donat, she asked, do you teach them together or they have their own class?
It is difficult to me to respond to that question. In the school where I teach, I don't have such case, but I think when I was, it was in 20 to 13, I had a student with difficulties of speaking and hearing. He has a hearing impairment. When I was teaching him for the first time, I didn't get him, I didn't consider him, but as long as I know him, he was included in my classroom, because when I wanted to ask some questions, written questions, oral question where he has to respond by speaking, I gave him a chalk or a handout where he has to write his answer. So he was included in my classroom, even though he was, he had hearing and speaking impairment. So I think she was asking those learners, those slow learners. Most of our students normally in day schools may be considered as slow learners, isn't it? They has a language barrier, they have low skills in all subjects. We have to encourage them by giving them different activities so they catch up and they can follow like others. They can participate and they do examination like others in boarding schools. So I don't see any problem there to teach these slow learners. You have only to include into other students with those students which are called high achievers, can assist them and facilitate them to learn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess it's about knowing who is who or how he's learning, like knowing your students and then planning accordingly. So there is no class of slow learner and there is no class of higher or high achievers. We teach them together. That's what they said. So thank you very much. Am I having another question? Maybe the last one. Okay, have a hand up there.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Frank. I'm a student at University of Rwanda. I have a question, those inclusive education. I want to hear the idea from the panel. So my question is, in today's, there is many programs and strategies for encouraging women's, and I think it's a part of inclusion. So I need for the panelists to compare today with 10 or 20 years past about inclusion, what the achievement of those established programs to encourage the women's, and the others, after comparing, and when you do on yourself, you can see that we are not on the good levels. So I am asking if it's because the existing strategies or programs is not enough, or there is a program which is not helpful. So if it's about not enough programs, what they suggest for the additional programs so that we can achieve the higher level of inclusive, like encouraging all the women's, which the suggestion for additional programs. Thank you.
I'm not sure if you got the question very well. Maybe it was a very long question.
No. In a simple form.
Yes, please make it brief, short.
Yeah. I want from the panelists to compare today with 10 past years about the inclusive educations, and I want for them to tell us the additional strategies so that we can achieve more level of inclusive,
yes,
compared to the current level.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so comparing it to 10 years of your time in inclusive education, where have you been and where are we? Where are we going? Is there any change? That's the question. So maybe I can have, okay
maybe I can start. To me, there is a change. Even though we are not yet at this place where we wanted to reach, most programs that are focusing on empowering, for instance, women in science education, most of them, they are not fully implemented. There is still a need of pushing those programs and to make sure that they are fully implemented. And also, there should be an emphasis on connecting the science to like real life impact, so that they can attract more girls. As we discussed before, we mentioned that girls at the beginning, they are more attracted to science, but later in their journey, they just start reducing their interest, their confidence in pursuing that science. So we should help. We should put those strategies that are in place. We should put more effort in them, and also add some programs that can attract more, or that can strengthen or increase their confidence in starting and finishing what they have started, actually.
Thank you very much. Okay. You add on that?
What I can say about that, comparing to...
Let's be brief, because our time has gone, like 30 seconds.
Like back in time, 10 years ago, comparing to nowadays, like my sister said, in her class, there were 3 girls in 35 students. You see the gap, but at this moment, everyone can realize the mindset has been changed. So when we go for inclusion, you should first understand that inclusion is just a mindset. Just having a mindset of including everyone, feel seen, heard when you are assigning tasks or when you are trying all your best to make sure that everyone is successful. So by now, I think what can be done is all about the social expectations which are there, which are expecting girls to do short courses, the course which does not requires them more focus or other things to change. So the programs, the strategies which are in place are there just to make sure that the society changes the mindset that girls can do what men can do. So that's all about that.
Thank you very much. The society need to change, needed to know that everyone need to be heard, especially the teachers that are in the class every day. So I want to hear Darren and then Shirmaka. Close on that because we have just past our time. Okay, start Shirmaka. Tell us where you see the inclusion going into our schools.
Thank you so much. Considering my observation, I have seen that the inclusiveness has been started because let me talk about the disability inclusion. When you see, you can find that the TTCs, teacher training schools, they are equipped with the materials that can facilitate the teachers, the future primary teachers, to facilitate those students with disabilities. They are taught how they can use sign languages, Braille, and other related things that can help people with disabilities. So, to me, it is good. But there is some gaps that our lab representative can address. Till now, teachers are still struggling to adapt the teaching resources, which means we don't have adapted curriculum to those students with disabilities. We don't have adapted books. Till now, we are still receiving the textbooks while we need Braille books. So the special needs department from Rwanda Basic Education can think about the way they can provide us the accessible teaching resources for those students with disabilities. So even the libraries are still inaccessible. So when you are blind, you can't find any library that can facilitate you to increase your knowledge. So we also recommend that the government should think about the accessible libraries for those students or for those people with disabilities that can facilitate them to increase their knowledge. We also, I also recommend for digital accessible tools and digital accessible resources also can work. And also our lab representative can look about that, because also the digital textbooks we have in our lab e-learning platform are not accessible for the people with disability, but something that I can appreciate is that the lab has started to work on that. So thank you. When we consider the previous years and we compare to this time, actually, there is a great improvement done. So we wish to continue in that way. Thank you.
That was a powerful remark and the address to the ministry and to any partner. The partners here, we need the libraries and we need the accessibility to materials to students with disability, especially those with blind. How do you say it? Yes, visual impairment. Thank you very much. Darren, you want to add something? Please be brief, like in some seconds.
Yeah. So you're talking about 10 years back and right now. 10 years back, I can give you an example. In 2015, we only had one international school with inclusion, but right now we have over 50 schools with inclusive education, meaning it has boosted and the awareness is up there, but then we still need more awareness, mostly like with parents, like the parents that are still keeping their children at home, who think disabled children can't be able to achieve like others. We need to keep encouraging them, more awareness, telling them like the differences we can make. Yeah, I can say that. So we've boosted, but then we still need some energy.
Thank you very much. This brings us to closing our session today, but before I go to my closing, I want you to please help me fill this sentence. A truly inclusive science classroom is one where you add anything that make it inclusive. I repeat, a truly inclusive science classroom is one where
all students are seeing themselves as scientists.
Thank you very much.
So is one where every student, every runner is free to participate regardless to his or her type of disability.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's where every learner is seen, valued, and supported.
Thank you very much.
It's where every runner's choice matters most than the privilege.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's a place where every student is feels valued, helped, and confidently thinks that he belongs to that classroom.
Thank you very much for our distinguished panelists and to everyone who joined this important conversation. Today's discussion reminds us that inclusion in science education is not only about infrastructure or curriculum. It is also about belonging. It is about whether every learner, regardless of gender, ability, background, language, or circumstance, feel encouraged to participate, question, experiment, and imagine themselves as a part of the science community. Truly inclusive science classrooms are built not only through resources, but through empathy, flexibility, representation, and collective commitment. And perhaps most importantly, they are built when every learner feels that science also belongs to them. I thank you very much for your kind attention, and please give a big round of applause to our panelists. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our panelists and the moderators for this important and impactful conversation. Your insight reminds us that science education must be inclusive, accessible, and empowering to every learner. Thank you to everyone who attended this session. Your participation, your engagement, and valuable contribution throughout today's launch. As we come to the end of today's launch, today's conversation have highlighted the importance of collaboration, innovation, and inclusive science education in shaping Africa's future. We appreciate the presence of all our partners, educators, policymakers, students, and guests who made this event meaningful and successful. I would like to invite you to join us to have a networking session over a coffee break, and this marks an end to today's launch. We're looking forward to the outreach event the lead team have organized in different provinces, in different schools. So thank you so much, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.